Good. Well, it's afternoon for me, so I'm assuming it's morning for you. You're in a different time zone, aren't you, Naomi? Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm currently in Florida, so it's just around 8:30 in the morning.
All right, so it's unfortunately a little bit early, but you got the weather though, right?
True,
You got
true.
that Florida sunshine. I know this already. I really wanted to touch base and catch up with you because I saw you had an NFT drop recently, which excited me. I'm very much into that space and interested in all the developments that are taking place. And I think it's a great way for, sportsmen and women, not just sportsmen and women. NFTs are, we haven't even begun to dig into what they could be in terms of value and use for the world. But in terms of sportsmen and women, I think it's a great tool for them to raise funds, not least for themselves, but for all manner of causes. Your cause in this particular case was raising money for a dear friend of mine who passed away recently. I say recently, time flies. It's over a year now. Lloyd Cowan, Coach Lloyd Cowan. Talk to me about, what made you, A, get into the NFT space, and B, decide to sell the artwork and the funds go to Lloyd Cowan.
Yeah, so I originally found out about NFTs through social media. I was on TikTok and I heard all about these apes selling for, millions of dollars. And I'm thinking, how is a picture of a cartoon ape selling for so much? And I didn't understand it. So I started to look into it a little bit more, started going and researching and figuring out how I can, if there's a way that I can get involved. I didn't have any disposable income to buy any NFTs at the time. So I thought, okay, let me just try and make my own and see what happens. So I couldn't actually sleep. So I started doodling. I've always been doodling, especially when I'm, maybe I want to calm myself down. I'm a bit anxious, or just want to have a little hobby to do. So I've always been doodling. So I started doodling and I started drawing these afros and different Black women's hairstyles. And I noticed that in a lot of NFTs, I didn't really see Afro hair represented or even many Black people represented. So I thought, right, I'm gonna call it Afro Chicks. And I just started drawing them and then putting them on. And I went on Twitter and shared what I was doing. And I think I did it for about 3 weeks. I had 9 followers and then I made 2 sales. And I'm thinking, how did I make a sale? 2 sales with 9 followers. That means that, people actually like what I'm doing, even though it's only a small amount of people who are even seeing what I'm doing. So I kind of continued that way. And then I decided that since I lost my sponsor last year, maybe this could be a way that I could fund my athletics journey. So I started telling my story on Twitter Spaces and social media and things like that. And people really resonated with it. So I continued, and then I raised enough so that I could go to this Florida camp, because even though I'm on funding, you have to raise a lot of the funds yourself to be able to, because sometimes British Athletics may cover us a part of it, but there's still a lot of expenses you still need to cover. So it would have probably been impossible for me to go without doing this project. So I started selling them, and then I realized that, I really want to help others. I've been able to be helped from this space. So how can I help others? And the first thing that came to my mind was always the Lloyd Cowan Foundation. Lloyd was one of the coaches who came to European Juniors, and some of my, when I was kind of going through the stages, always giving me a nod and encouraging me and things like that. So I thought, this is the perfect thing that I want to start donating to. So when I got to my 100th Afro Chick, I said, all the proceeds from this is going to go straight to the Lloyd Cowan bursary, and I explained what it was. And it sold within an hour for around $400, something like that. And that was the highest sale I ever made. Normally they sell for about $30 to $60. So this one was 400, and people just valued, where this proceeds were going. So since then, I was so happy that I was able to donate to Lloyd Cowan. And now when I do drop, I want to keep donating about 30% to Lloyd Cowan to keep that going and keep more people, his legacy, for his legacy to live on, and also for more athletes to be helped in the same way that I've been helped through this project. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, the story so far.
No, that's a great nutshell, and it's interesting that you've understood that, and for those who don't, resale of NFTs means that royalties will always go back to the original artist, and that's kind of baked into the smart contract, which is what actually creates the value for the art in the first place, right? For those who don't know about smart contracts, have a little dig into those and you'll begin to get it. 100 pieces, Naomi. That's fantastic for somebody just doodling. I mean, you said that you've always kind of dabbled with art. What made you confident enough to present it in a way that you thought people would buy it? Because I always find when I speak to people in this space, they've got pieces, they've got a catalogue of art, but they don't want to expose it because they don't think it's good enough. But you just seem to just go in head first.
Yeah, I think I think I was definitely second guessing myself, but I thought if people are selling cartoon images of monkeys, I can sell something because people see value in anything. And do you know what? Even with the monkeys, the artwork's still good. So different people like different things. And if people don't like it, they can scroll past. But if it resonates with someone, and the amount of Black women from across the world who have said, I'm so happy you made this project. I've got one for my daughter loves it and chose one, then even if it's just one person, as I said, who likes it, and it inspires them or resonates with them, it's good. So I think a lot of people second guess themselves, but you never know until you just throw yourself out there. So yeah, even if you don't think you're an artist, because I definitely didn't consider myself an artist, somebody might find value in what you do, or even just like you as a creator or a person. So just put yourself out there. That's the advice I definitely give.
You've made a point of making them one of ones. Is there any reason for that? And for those who don't get that or understand what one of ones are, literally what you see is what you get, whereas some other artists might produce 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 of the same images. What was behind your decision to keep it one of ones for now?
So I think when I first got in, I actually didn't know how to make a generative project. I didn't know who to reach out to. So I thought the easiest way for me to get started and to get started quick is just to do them one by one and upload them directly to OpenSea. Obviously, now that I'm in the space, I kind of understand it and how it works a little bit more and how to find developers and smart contracts, like you said, things like that. So I think it was just a knowledge thing for me. But at the same time, it's had a bit of a benefit because I can drop them on my own time. And if the market's down, I can sort of hold off a little bit. I can control how many is going to be in circulation. And if I get inspired by things that are happening around the world, like say it's Mother's Day or Easter, I could do a special drop dedicated to that as things are sort of going on. So in a way, it's almost been a benefit. But I think down the line, I might want to make a larger collection if there's a higher level of interest and I can't doodle at the same rate as the interest. So that's kind of what I'm doing so far.
You seem to be comfortable with learning by doing. So what's the next thing that comes from Naomi in terms of this art space? And I've noticed that where tech and just all things digital are concerned, you seem quite comfortable. You're all right in that space. Have you always been like that?
Yeah, I've always just been, I just love tech. I think I wanted my first camera. I think I got my first camera when I was about 9. I would beg my parents, please, can I get it? And I was making videos, editing. I've always been into it, and I think anything creative, I just love it. And just using the computer and learning new softwares and tools and making what's in my brain come to life, it just always excites me. So yeah, I think some things that I'm working on is it was 3 Point Start, which is like a blog which is just interviewing athletes and similar to yourself, just getting to know the stories. And for me, it was always about the edit. I wanted to edit the clips and just make it fun because I'm always about athletes having fun and it's not always about the athletics. It's about what you're doing outside of it. So I really wanted to show them stories. But then now with this Afro chicks in the NFT space, I'm really finding how to build a community and build a community of engaged fans who like Naomi as a person, Naomi as a creator, and then the athletics as a bonus that they can support me that way. So people who never heard of triple jump are now tuning in on YouTube to watch me jump. I've put an Afro chick on my kit. So say that somebody owns. Yeah, so basically what I did for the world tour is I wore one Afro chick owned by somebody. I said, then I did a tweet after saying, I wore this tweet. I wore this NFT owned by this account, and here's the link to it so you can see the contract and see that they own it. And then they said they felt so connected and honored that I wore that what they own. So it's kind of showing that Web3 isn't just a thing that people go, why can't I can just right click and save the image. But that proof of ownership made that person feel like, wow, like I've supported Naomi and now I can see my own NFT that I've bought is now on her kit, and I can prove that through this, digital proof of ownership. So I think it's a really interesting space, which you know, the possibilities are really endless for it.
No, they really are, and that's a fantastic way that you've engaged with your community. More power to you. I'm excited to see what kind of initiatives and ideas you've got coming next. Listen, you mentioned something earlier, which just in my mind, I didn't show it on my face, but I was like, huh? Sorry, did you say you haven't got a sponsor?
No.
For those who are watching who don't emanate from the sports space, Naomi is the best triple jumper in Great Britain, and has been for what, 9 years?
I can't remember, but I've won 9 British champs in a row. So,
right. So
yeah.
8, 9 years. She's got the medals to prove it. She's got the receipts. Listen, how the hell have you not got a sponsor? What's going on?
I actually don't know. I think the sort of main reason for losing the sponsor was because how do I think some people think that triple jump's not a marketable sport compared to the running events. And, you know, I think the good thing is because Rojas is now breaking world records, the eyes are coming back to triple jump, luckily, and women's triple jump is really put on the map. The amount of times I tell people now do triple jump and they go, oh, is that the one where that Venezuelans, you know, breaking the records? I'm saying, yep, that's the one I do. So people are aware of it. But I think, you know, I think this is, I don't know the answers.
Tell me what you feel, Naomi. I understand you ain't got the answer. Tell me what you feel. Tell me what you feel, and be as honest as you can without obviously offsetting the opportunity to get another sponsor. But do use this as an opportunity, obviously, to give them an insight as well into kind of what you got to deal with. Because I'm actually dumbfounded at the notion that you don't have a sponsor. Just doesn't make any sense to me. If the best in the country can't get one just like that, what's really going on?
Yeah, I think I honestly, as I said, I don't know. But what I do know is that if I've managed to sell 100 NFTs based on myself, I don't know why a brand would think that I couldn't promote their brand well enough. I've proved being a triple jumper, which isn't considered, you know, an event that's got many eyes on them, but even just me as a person was able to generate more than 100 sales in, you know, a month. So it shows that I think a lot of athletes don't realize how much potential they've got, and maybe they promote things for free too much. And I think that's one of the issues, if I'm being honest. Too many brands are sending athletes things for free, and athletes are promoting these things for free. So why would you sponsor someone when you could just send them kit? So I think that's probably the main reason why a lot of the top athletes in the country aren't sponsored, because they could just get things for free. And I think athletes need to be honest and transparent that, you know, I am promoting this, but it's unpaid, or this kit is a gifted, not sponsored. And a lot of these words get interchanged. So if an athlete's consistently promoting a brand for free, other brands are going to look at them thinking, well, they're clearly sponsored, so they don't need my help. So I think a lot of athletes need to be more vocal about and be very clear if they're sponsored or not. So that's kind of what I think.
PB at the moment?
14:22.
Okay, Aisha Hansen. You know what's happening next, right? I'll leave that one there. For those who don't know who Aisha is, go do your research. I can't wait. That's for me. That's your next target. I can't wait for you, you know, to get to that level. You there? It's coming, and I reckon it's gonna pop soon, because I've been watching you train. Well, when you let me, you had a period where you didn't post. For those who follow her quite closely, you mentioned the Venezuelan. That's clearly the bar at the moment. You're seeing all that's coming with that. So, I mean, have you got to shave your hair?
No, I'm not gonna shave my hair, but you know, if someone guaranteed me saying, Naomi, you're gonna jump 50, 67 if you shave your hair, mate, I'm getting that razor and doing it.
I mean, I wouldn't blame you as well. You know? Listen, how phenomenal an athlete is she, though? She's like, I just watching her do that. Well, I'm getting goosebumps now watching her in, you know, the Olympics, and mate, she's been coming. It's been coming. You know, that notion of it not being a sexy event that you alluded to earlier. It takes a protagonist like her. It takes someone like her to bring that light. So while it's on it, you know, you got to do your thing. But in terms of getting close to her, I mean, what are your gym sessions looking like, girl?
I'm just training hard. That's all. I'm just training hard. I'm tired now, even just talking to you, but I am. She's just motivated me to a different level, because I always had in my head, the world record's 1550, the world record's 1550. It's from 20 odd years ago. No one's close to it. And then she started, 1503, 1520, and then she was and then the fifth, when she got to 1567, I'm thinking, I cannot have her beat me by a meter and something. I'm not letting it happen. So I need to level up. So she just inspired me of what's possible. I literally watch her jumps all the time, thinking, what did she do in London? What has she done here? What is she doing on the run up? And just seeing and learning from her. And that's the most I can do. But I'm excited to compete. I don't think I've only competed against her once, but I'm excited to compete against her again and just seeing what she's doing, because at the end of the day, she's the best that's ever been. So I'm actually lucky that I'm jumping at the same time as her. But man, she's inspiring for sure.
Listen, I've been spoken to Philip Sado and come through the Teddy Tango era, and just like them guys were beasts, right? And moving it on to God, I'm gonna forget his name. He's gonna hit me when I see him. American. God. He was based here as well. And I say here in the UK.
Christian, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
You kept me hanging for too long. Sorry, Chris. Sorry, mate. I forgot your name. But just watching him and those guys come through an era of stiff competition and speaking to them individually and understanding how they needed that to keep them going. Yeah, like I said earlier, I'm excited to see what that does for you. And, you've touched on it, inspiring you already. But yeah, hunt her down. Go to whatever competition she's in. Let's give the fans what they want. That will make it exciting, because that's one of the things that used to happen on the track. If you want to go back to the sprints, and obviously it's always sexy, right? But the athletes used to go and race each other around the circuit, and that's what kind of kept the kettle boiling, if you like. So I'd suggest you do the same. Back to the NFTs. What, you got any blue chips you're holding in your wallet there?
No, I actually don't.
And if you don't, what would you target? If you had the budget now, what would you like to acquire?
Okay, what would I want to get? Okay, I think I'd get. Let me have a think. So for the women-led projects, I'd get a BFF, which is a new one that's minting soon. I'd get a World of Women, and then I'll get a Doodles. I get is it Azuki?
Mm-hmm. Azuki, yeah.
I get one of them. Yeah, I'd get an ape if I had if the funds are allowed. Then I would grab an ape.
Yeah, I understand why. What you're saying, you know what I mean? You'd have to have everything else first. And the funds are there. Then, we'd all get an ape.
I think the first project that I got into, which really helped me, was called Onaji, and it's by an artist called Marcus Prime, who's like really big on social media and things like that. Like it makes like comic style, and he's a black artist, and it's a real big black community. So even though they're not like minted out or anything yet, it's just like a slow mint, but the community is just, they've supported me so much from the beginning. They're probably the 9 followers that I had. And even like two of them did a podcast the other day, and they just spent like 20 minutes just talking about my project and about me as an athlete and everything. And I didn't even know they were doing it. So it sometimes just having the more communities that you are linked into can make all the difference as well. And as I said, if I get my ETH up, I'll be tapping into more projects. But
well, here's to getting our ETH up then. Listen, it's been a real pleasure. As I said, I know it's morning early before training and you're tired, and it's that heavy part of the season, right? It's that heavy, slow breathing, that heavy work. So the body's aching. I get it, and I really appreciate you taking the time out. Good luck with Afro Chicks and everything moving forward. I'm going to send you my ETH address just in case you're sending out any, freebies or because I'd like to hold a Naomi and Afro Chicks, in the early days, because who knows what's going to happen in the future. But no, best of luck to you, more power. I appreciate you. Is there anything else you want to leave the fans with before you go, where they can find you, hit you up, all of the handles? Yeah,
so where I'm the most active at the moment is actually the Twitter. It's at Afro Chicks NFT. I'm tweeting all the time. I'm even posting training clips there. So you might just want to go find me there. I'm sorry, Instagram, but I go where I'm getting paid. I have to be honest. So I'm there at the moment. But my Instagram is Naomi Ogbita. Even though I'm married, Instagram won't let me change my name. So I need to change that. But yeah, I'm mainly on that Twitter. So follow me there, Afro Chicks NFT and Naomi Ogbita on Instagram. Thank you.